What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. We find ourselves this week in the Sapphire Queen Gate, which is Fiendy, which is mainly only entirely because the other three floors all seem to be beasts, and we've done beasts like a few times recently. It's like, I can't in good conscience justify doing that again. Also, normally, under normal circumstances, I will make any excuse whatsoever to avoid these dang things, so it's probably about time I did one. Ow, that's why I hate them. You just get hit from a mile away with spears that poison you. Oh god. Fiends, man. Jeez. Do not want. Why did I choose to do this? It's all your fault, it's not my fault. What the heck is this? This looks like a... Is this a normal room? This looks like there are weird things going on. Is this a scenario room? It has the potential to be a scenario room, I think. It fits the bill in a lot of respects. Huh. Well, that's cool, that's cool. So let us start things off with some Spiral Knights news. Because there is a little bit to talk about. Can I first say, I called it. I called it. You know how I said they were going to go through all of the colours? Yep, it's another colour! Yay, they added another colour to the game. Green is now a colour in the game. That's so, yeah. If you like your green, you can now have green. Congratulations. Green lovers, your dreams have come true or something? I don't know. They're really difficult to hit. Okay, what have we got left up there is that I just want to open... Okay, we've got a pit boss and a yes man, so they ain't gonna fight me. They can stand around going brump, 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 as much as they like, and they won't bother me. The Steam overlay must be enabled. No, not to see this. There we go, green with envy, a Peridot or Peridot. I had to Google that one. I believe both are acceptable. So it's a Peridot or Peridot prize box, which is a kind of a limeish green. I'm not gonna lie, I did expect emerald. The last one was ruby. I thought, like, look, they're gonna do ruby, they're gonna do emerald, they're gonna do sapphire, they're gonna do the obvious ones. Actually, not so much. No, they're going with Peridot, Peridots, whatever. Either or, both are good. Which is an uncommon and maybe less famous semi-precious stone, but good on them for choosing that. Hooray for the Peridot. I'm going to call it Peridot. Peridot sounds classier than Peridot, so I'm going to call it Peridot. I don't know which one it's supposed to be, but as I say, I think it's one of those words that's just so confused by so many people that whoever initially might have coined the term or name or whatever has long since given up on trying to enforce any kind of pronunciation. It's like, at this point, just call it whatever you want, guys. You know, it's never mind. Never mind. It was a bad idea to spell it that way. Let's just, you know, move on. Let's get on with our lives. Let's find bigger issues to deal with. Speaking of bigger issues to deal with, I've got questions to do. Actually, no. Before I will do the other things before questions thing, which is to say channel-ish kind of news, which is to say just my life kind of news. I have started a new job, which is a full-time job. I was up until now doing part-time work, so I've started a full-time job as of today, which is now Tuesday. It basically means, going back to the old methods of things, I'm going to be recording Spiral Spiels on Tuesdays from now on rather than Wednesdays. They'll still go up at the normal time on a Wednesday, but I'll be recording one on Tuesday. So I will be even less informed about news and goings-on in Spiral Knights than I normally am, which is, you know, not helpful, but unavoidable. So yeah, I'm recording these on Tuesdays, and I don't know yet how much this is likely to affect my schedule just broadly across the board. It may be that, I mean, whilst I had the extra free time and the better internet capacity and stuff, and the drive and wherewithal, I kind of stepped up to doing double videos on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I did just an excuse to have an extra series on the go for me, mostly, I think it was, because it's like, I just want to be able to do more different stuff. And I don't know if I'm going to find the time to record. That one extra series was just an extra luxury afforded me by having the free time to do so. And whether I can continue with that or not, I don't know. To be fair, those series always seem to be by far my least popular series. Actually, I did put Necrodancer in that time slot for a while. Necrodancer always did okay for me. Necrodancer I liked. But Assassin's Creed went out at that time, and currently The Consuming Shadow is going out at that time. And yeah, nobody watching them. They are not popular series. I think for me, a lot of that is that's the series that I do for me. That's not for you guys. If you guys want to watch it, that's fantastic, and I love you for watching it. You guys are the best. But I ain't recording them for you. I'm recording them for me. I'm nuts to it. So yeah, that's the main stuff. The stuff that, you know, I would like people to be watching, because otherwise, why do I have a YouTube channel? Those are going to continue to be going out at 11 PM GMT, 6 PM Eastern. Every day. I will stay on top of that. Promise. I'm gonna make my damnedest fine effort at any rate. But yeah, that's... If nothing else, that might mean I might be able to afford the things and bits and pieces and equipment and stuff that will allow me to upgrade my channel and stuff from time to time. It's one of those things that is like, you know, actually improving standards and quality and stuff just involves having the money, and can't do that if this is your full-time job but you're not making any money out of it. That just doesn't work. That's not practical. So now we move on to questions. Let's do the questionnaires. Let's start with... what have we got a good one? Let's get the Spiral Knights questions out of the way, because we all know that's not what I want to be talking about, but I feel obliged to answer them at the very least. Jeff Parkson says, what got you into Spiral Knights? That would be predominantly the art style, I think. I believe I was... I'm sure I've told the story before, and I'm not a bit hazy on it myself now, but I believe the way it went down was I was a fan of Ian McConville's artwork prior to the game, because he runs a webcomic by the name of 3-Panel Soul, if you don't know. He also, with his colleague, the same guy he works with, there's a writer. It's a kind of penny arcade kind of setup. There's like a writer and an artist. They work together to work on stuff, and yeah, they used to do a webcomic called Mac Hall, and that they stopped running that after a while. And I found that through 3-Panel Soul. Ian McConville and Matt Boyd do 3-Panel Soul. I found that it was a great comic, started reading that, found their Mac Hall stuff, went back and like read through the entire archives one day. It was like just webcomic binge, as you do from time to time, or at the very least as I do from time to time. I don't know about anyone else. I feel like I can't be alone in that particular one. So yeah, I had a webcomic binge and kind of got into that. So I was a fan of his stuff. So they started doing comics that are about Spiral Knights. You know, they're working on that game, so some of the content was related to Spiral Knights. Not frequently, but occasionally it came up. And they kind of mentioned the game and advertised the game a bit on their webcomic. And I was like, I'm intrigued by this, and went and checked it out. I think around the same time as it launched, Penny Arcade also ran some ads for the game, which also got my attention as well. It's just all a cool art style. That was one of the big selling points for me, I think. And yeah, that's what caught my eye the most. Why do you think it's a good game, and what is your reason for continuing to play it? Oh, well, that's an interesting question with interesting ways of answering it. Why do I think it's a good game? I think it's got some very solid mechanics, some depth and complexities for the advanced strategist to master, but very, very accessible to anybody who just wants to jump in. I think it's a very fair free-to-play model, and there's a lot of games, certainly, you know, go back 4 years. It was a model that in Western markets was still kind of in its infancy. This was one of, if not the first free-to-play game on Steam, I think. It might not be the first, but it was very, very early on. So when they popped up on the market, and people were sort of most Western experience at that point with free-to-play models had mostly been stuff that had been imported from like Korea, and it was all pay to win, and it was nasty, and I was like, oh god, no, I'm not playing a free-to-play thing, because the people who pay the most money win the game. It wasn't, yeah, free-to-play was not a term associated with good stuff, and Spiral Knights kind of did it differently, and I appreciated that, and I think many people did, so I think that was helpful. However, I don't think it's necessarily been the kindest to them in the long run. When you look at the mobile market these days and what people like King and Zynga are doing, or Zynga did, I'm not sure what Zynga are doing these days. Did Zynga shut down? I can't remember what Zynga are doing. King, obviously, they do your Candy Crush type stuff. And they're making bucket loads out of horrible, horrible business models. So I guess the casual market has kind of embraced those things. Ouch, that was stupid. But sort of, yeah, your more hardcore, your PC gaming audience, at the very least, certainly probably has not embraced those models in the same way. They're more about the hats, and, well, Spiral Knights has got plenty of hats going on, if nothing else. So, yeah, I think that's why it's done okay over the years, because it is not the king model. It's got the right model for the right market, I think. I think the style helps. I think a lot of other people kind of... I know at the very least Scribble will, from the podcast and from some of my Sky Saga stuff, he was also drawn to the art style as well. He's the reason... I think I got him into it, where I was like, hey dude, you'd love the art style of this game. Look at this game. Look, isn't it gorgeous? It's like, I know what he likes in games. So if I'm like, dude, look, play this game, I know you're going to love it. So I've got a pretty good handle on what he likes. So yeah, he was like, yep, that game looks great. That was a great recommendation. And for quite a long time, he had sunk far more hours into this game than I have. But then he got a life. So yeah. Why do I keep playing it? I don't. Well, half an hour a week to record Spiral Spiel. That's not really what most people would constitute as playing it. Nothing really actually keeps me playing it. The lack of content is what keeps me from playing it. The fact is, I don't play this game except to make this video anymore. People keep saying, oh, why don't you do this, why don't you do this, why don't you do this? I played nearly 1,100 hours of this game, and I know there are people out there played a lot more, but that's neither here nor there. I am not them. I have had my fill of this game over the last 4 years, you know. I played a lot of it. I played enough of it. My appetite for Spiral Knights is mostly sated, I think. So, is there anything I can pick up? No, nothing. Nothing of use. So I kind of don't, except to make this content, because I enjoy making this content, don't get me wrong. I'm not like, I don't want to play Spiral Knights anymore, I wish I didn't have to make Spiral Spiel. I'm not doing that. I'm not here against my own volition. But bear in mind that most of my playing this game is pretty much autopilot. It's like, I'm just going through the motions here. I've done this so often. I'm not 100% on the game. I'm thinking about what to say to you guys and finding interesting topics to talk about, because I've talked about the game with various parties and played the game in I've played the game in various ways. That's a weird one. No, I've been involved in the game for like 4 years in various capacities, in a wide variety of capacities, and it doesn't hold a lot of novelty for me anymore. Which is why I'm kind of trying to do the Bring Back Blast Network things on Sundays, the Sunday Night Blast Network. I totally failed to do that this Sunday, sorry. I would like to have another go this Sunday. Watch this space, don't hold me to anything for the love of God. Watch my Twitter for anything. If I announce anything, it'll be on Twitter. It will also be on this channel. I'll put out an announcement video. If you don't see any of those, I ain't doing anything, but I'll try to do something this Sunday. But yeah, not much happening, because there's not much happening, quite frankly. Just whilst we're on it, I suppose, if you want a poster child for what I think right now is free to play, done extremely well. I don't know how much money they're making out of it, but in terms of actual content delivery, it's not even an MMO. What I would say the best free to play model at the minute is Final Fantasy Record Keeper, which is by the team that, in case you hadn't quite connected the dots, it's made by the same team that Nintendo have hired to do their ventures into the mobile market. When Nintendo said a few months back, by the way, we've got these guys, we're partnering up with them, and we want to start, looking into doing mobile content, it's DNA. That's D-E-N-A, DNA. They're the guys who made Final Fantasy Record Keeper, and they're the guys that Nintendo want to work on Nintendo mobile content. And as far as I'm concerned, they're doing it great. It's entirely new sets of mission content every 2 weeks. If I had that in Spiral Knights, I would not be complaining. Not in the slightest. Where are we at? I feel like we must be at Fiends. We are. Let's do that. Let's carry on with my Blitz Needle. I need no change in my equipment. My Paladin loadout is reasonably well sorted to Fiends and Undeads. It's Shadow Resist because that works for both. And yeah. It has spiky things and it has elemental things in. It covers all the bases pretty well. It's my paladin loadout. It kills fiends and undead. And it does not come with a divine shield, sadly enough, but hey ho. Can't have everything. Alright, that question went on a long way further than I thought, I suppose. Let's do the other spiralized question, which is Sir Jinxable, which is a face I've not seen around on my channel for a long time. So hello, welcome back to the channel, Sir Jinxable. I saw your trailer for the Rise of Knights thing. That was actually what tipped me off that existed. I saw the trailer for it and I was like, what trailer for what? At first I was like, has Sir Jinxable made a game, and is he doing the trailer for this Spiral Knights fan game or something? And then I dug a bit deeper and I was like, oh no, this is this entire other thing that I'm like 2 days late to the party on at this point. So yes, thank you for tipping me off on that one. Otherwise, that could have been a lot longer before I knew anything about that. I probably might not even have known about that now if you hadn't posted that, which is quite amusing. So Sir Jinxable says he was strolling around the YouTube looking for motivations and found my video. Really? Okay. I don't know that I'm a motivational speaker, but hey-ho. I found my video, remembered I the Spiral Knights, and you have a question. Do I think the servers will stay on for another 4 years? I ain't gonna beat around the bush. I am not going to candy coat it. I'm astonished they're still on now. I really am. I genuinely don't believe there are many MMOs in this world that could have the concurrent player base that this game does and still be around. Most MMOs, if they were pulling an average concurrent player base of 500, which according to Steam charts is what this game is pulling, I guess that doesn't cover all the player base because there are still players who don't play through Steam, but I imagine it would cover. I imagine that covers a large proportion of the player base given the nature of the PC market. And honestly, look, if any other MMO had 500 players average on any given day, whichever publisher was responsible for that would have pulled the plug a long time ago, if we're honest. So, yeah, I'm astonished Sega allows it to continue. I really am. It's not anything, nothing of Three Rings doing it. It's absolutely end of the day, it's Sega, but yeah, Sega are the publisher. Sega presumably wants something to show for this game existing, and I don't think it's making much money, as evidenced by the development cycle. If they were making a lot more money, the development cycle would be, hopefully, you know, new content every 2 weeks, like DNA or something. But that's not happening. I will say, you know, DNA aren't putting out complex content. It's not like they're overhauling everything all the time. It's not like they're adding crazy new stuff. It's just new levels that are mostly just a remix of existing content, but packaged up in a fresh new way. If they're just like, hey, look, I mean, they've got the tile sets, they've got the resources and things. They're just like, hey, look, we made this new kind of scenario. It's mostly content you've seen before, but it's kind of structured in this way, and you get a kind of a neat reward at the end of it. I'd come back every 2 weeks to play through a few missions that were just sort of a limited time. Hey, it's a 2-week kind of job, and at the end of it, you'll get some kind of shiny trinket, maybe some cosmetic, I don't know. Some mild but not incredible reward. It's nothing game-breaking, but just a cool token to say, hey, I took part in the thing that was around for 2 weeks. Do that. Three Rings, do that. I think Three Rings must have it within them to do that. They must have a level designer sat somewhere who's kind of a bit bored because they're not getting to design many levels. That's got to be the case. We know the artists are sat bored because they're making reskins of costumes every 2 weeks. But there you go. That's, yeah. That is my non-candy-coated, not beating about the bush kind of response to that one. Let's do some questions that are not Spiral Knights, because I've done 20 minutes of Spiral Knights, which is quite impressive, because normally I wouldn't. It's, well, I've dabbled into some game design there, so I'm kind of okay with that. I'll talk about game design for a while. Oh, hey, whoa! Whoa, what the thing in the side of the room? This looks much like the room that I saw earlier and was like, hey, that's a scenario room. This is a scenario room! That's that's a spear in my face. I'm going to cure that. I'm going to heal up. I'm going to shoot you again. I'm going to try. It's not going to work, but I'm going to try. That is actually a tortodrome in that room, and I'm poisoned again. God damn! Really, these guys are nasty. They really are. Dodging my bullets and throwing their heavy-hitting poisonous spears. They're nasty blighters. And they have imprisoned the poor tortodrone in a prison of stone or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on over there. It looks petrified. It's a petrified tortodrone, which is petrified in the turned to stone sense, as opposed to the scared sense. Ah, you just hit me with a suitcase. That doesn't poison me. It's not a poisonous suitcase. If you had a poisonous suitcase, I would be contemplating what the hell you had in your lunchbox, because that would be concerning. Alright, other questions. What else we got? I am Phoenix with a usual cavalcade of questions. I'm used to breaking them to get their shinies out. That one doesn't have shinies in it. I am Phoenix has many questions. I am Phoenix has always has many questions, and I am appreciative of Phoenix's many questions. So thank you for those. What is something someone said that forever changed your way of thinking? Oh, hang on. Sorry. I guess this maybe in a little way ties into something I missed. Sir Jinxable had another question that I totally forgot to answer, and I just realized I totally forgot to answer it, which was, what gets you motivated to do something? Do you know how bad I am at procrastination? I don't motivate easily, I gotta say. Yeah, no, I'm subscribed to r/get motivated in an attempt to get motivated, but I gotta say, that subreddit is not good. It's like, if you want to get motivated to go to the gym and lift weights, it's probably pretty okay. But yeah, 90% of the content is about, why haven't you hit the gym, and do you even lift, bro? And it's, no, I don't like gyms, and I have no plans to hit said gyms. No, it's not happening. That's not my place, man. Oh, this one requires some shadow weapons, doesn't it? I think. So let's equip one of those. A sword of Acheron. I think I've been pronouncing it all wrong. I think it is Acheron, isn't it? I've been pronouncing it wrong for years. I think I read somewhere recently it was Acheron. And I'm like, oh, I've been wrong. Let's take out Acheron and do that. As I say, I'm not the person to go to for motivation, I gotta say. There was a fine quote that someone once said to me that forever changed my way of thinking. Now, that's a very overly dramatic way of putting it. I don't know if there's anything that anybody ever said that forever changed my way of thinking, particularly. Nothing that stands out in any way. But there's a fantastic quote that I will forever love. It is one of my all-time favorite quotes, which is, after the final credits of the JRPG Skies of Arcadia, there's a fantastic quote right at the end of the game. It gives you this picture of all the crew on their flying ship, the sky pirates who just saved the world, and all that. And above it, you get next to it, you got the text: "As long as there are dreamers who have the courage to follow their dreams, the world will have heroes." And I love that. I love that as just as a concept. As long as there are dreamers who have the courage to follow their dreams, the world will have heroes. So let that be your life-changing and/or motivational quote of the day, in case you were looking for motivational quotes to get you motivated. As I say, yeah, if a trite sentiment that can be put over a pretty picture and sound good is all it takes to motivate you, then r/get motivated might work for you. But if you want an actual kick up the arse, you might need to see some sort of more motivational speaker type person. So that's two questions with one stone. We also have from I Am Phoenix: what makes humans? Consciousness, I guess? I suppose would probably be the one thing that would differentiate us from anything else that we're aware of existing in this universe. We are not aware of anything else existing, I guess. Humans, our DNA, our millions of years of evolution. All these things go to make humans human. If you're looking for an answer like a soul or something, I'm afraid I do not believe in any such nonsense, to be honest. So, yeah, all the things that contributed to making us human over the eons accumulated in what you see before you today. And what you see before you today is a man playing a video game. Isn't evolution great? We evolved into this, so that I could sit here and play a video game for you. Mind blown, eh? Mind blown. What is consciousness? Oh, well, that kind of ties into what I hadn't even particularly clocked that was the follow-up question. I genuinely hadn't. That's amusing. What is consciousness? It is a sufficiently advanced intelligence to the point of being self-aware, I suppose, would be consciousness. Being aware of one's existence and one's impact on the world around you and surroundings and life and the ability to study other things within this universe. I don't know. That's getting too deep and philosophical for me. I ain't no philosopher and I ain't no psychologist. I'm more into the hard sciences than the soft sciences. Gotta be said. I just want to know how to make a spaceship go fast and how to explode things. When it comes down to it, those are my main priorities here. So yeah. Where do we put all the carbon? Oh, am I at the end here? I actually kind of am. I might squeeze another floor in because we're only at 26 minutes and I've burned through this in some silly pace. I wonder what's up next. If it's Vanaduke, we might have to say no, but if there's another just something floor, I'll do another floor. We got more. Where do we put all the carbon? With a link to a 4-year-old article in The Guardian discussing the future of green energy in the UK as relevant. I read through that article. I'm not sure why it's relevant. It was mostly just the government being the government, which, as we've discussed over the course of the last 38 or so episodes, is not very good about forward-thinking and green stuff. Now we had the former... what was his role? The former... I can't remember. Vince Cable, I can't remember what his title would have been, saying, "Boo, you should not be thinking about green stuff. You should be thinking about the present and not the future. There are more pressing issues. We need to deal with issues in this country now and not be looking to deal with issues that aren't going to be a problem for like 50 years. And it's like, this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Cable is the number one example of the problem with politics that I have been talking about for 38 episodes now. This is like, no, we don't need to deal with this because it's not a problem yet. No, it's not, but if we don't deal with it now, we won't be able to fix the problem in 50 years' time. God damn it. Why is that so hard to comprehend? We won't... I think I'm probably actually pretty okay here. We won't have the ability to do that. That's just not an option. We won't... If we wait 50 years to be like, oh, you know that climate change thing? Yeah. No, it's too late. By 2050, if we're still sat on our asses going, oh, but the economy, what about the economy? We can't spend money investing in green energy because we haven't addressed the slightly high unemployment rate. And, well, the GDP is not as high as it used to be. And it's like, oh my god, we're literally destroying the planet. Can we have some... Can someone just prioritize here? Priorities, please, please, please. Can the people in charge figure out how to prioritize? And they're not doing it. Well, the question in case where do we put all the carbon is an interesting discussion I saw come up on Reddit last week in relation to another climate change article I'd been reading, because I read far too many of those at the minute, and they're all terrifying, by the way. Every single thing that any climate change scientist has written about climate change within the last 8 months, within 2015, everything written about climate change within 2015 has been, I want to say terrifying, but terrifying is not the right word. Apocalyptic is the right word. There is nobody whose literal job is to study the change of ecosystems, the planetary's weather systems and ecosystems, and, predict you know, how these things will impact the future. Every single one of them is saying there's a very, very reasonable chance that we're just going to wipe ourselves out by the end of the century. And you always get the comments. The comments are always so short-minded that it's just like, oh, well, I saw an article that sort of sounded like it debunked one of the points you made that was posted a couple of years ago, and therefore your entire article is wrong, and it's just armchair keyboard warriors that know better than climate change scientists, apparently, somehow. You know better than them with all their research and data that they've been studying. It's their life, their job, the reason they are here. That is what they have done with their existence on this planet, is study climate change. But no, you know better than them. Of course you do. Of course you know better than them. And they're like, no, it's all overblown, it's scaremongering. It's not scaremongering. These guys have got no reason to be scaremongering. What do they gain out of scaremongering? They achieve nothing by scaremongering. They're not pushing an agenda other than to try and stop us from wiping ourselves out. There's no scaremongering. I've still dodged the question here. Where do we put the carbon? The one interesting hypothesis... hypothesis is the wrong word. Theory, speculative suggestion of technology, I don't know, that would work was basically using machines. In the particular scenario posited, they specifically referred to nanobots, which was... I looked at that and I was like, where are we on nanobots, by the way? Just as a species, where are we and how are we doing on the nanobot front? Because I wasn't aware that we had nanobots, but they were like, what we need to do is seed the ocean with nanobots that are specifically designed to take the carbon dioxide that's dissolved in the water and turn it into calcium carbonate. And I was like, that's a fantastic suggestion. That's a relatively simple reaction. It seems like a task well within the bounds of nanobots. I feel like we could do that. Do we have nanobots? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can someone just get on that? I'm not sure we have that, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like we would be out of the scope of possibility to create some kind of machine, even if not nanoscale, to do that. Until someone pointed out the fact that the article in question was talking about how we keep producing ridiculous amounts of carbon dioxide, and it all keeps, a great deal of it, most of the carbon dioxide, the problem is not with it going into the atmosphere and creating a greenhouse effect. That's not the big problem here. The big problem with it is most of it dissolves in the ocean. And do you know what happens when carbon dioxide dissolves in the ocean? Do you know what happens when carbon dioxide dissolves in water? Do you know? It makes carbonic acid. So all the carbon dioxide that dissolves in water is making the oceans just slightly more acidic. And it's going to continue happening, and continue happening. And there are some regions of the world where they're like studying the shellfish, is like looking at like an oyster farm. There's some oyster farms they've looked at, and it's like, the shells are really weak on these. Well, do you know what the shells of those shellfish are made out of? Do you know? It's calcium carbonate. Or, you know, same stuff as limestone or eggshells, or actually quite a bunch of stuff. There's quite a lot of chalk. Lots of things in this world are calcium carbonate. And it is, you know, if you could, you know, convert carbon dioxide into calcium carbonate, into limestone or what have you, it would be a good way of getting that carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and reducing the carbon. That was where you could put the carbon. The problem with that also, though, is, as we've seen with the oysters, is that dissolves in acid. So it's what if we could... That's a weird kind of ticking time bomb kind of scenario, and it's also, by the way, terrifying and apocalyptic. It's basically, it's like, now, one way we could fix this problem, for the acidification of the oceans is a far bigger problem in and of itself, even than quite a lot of the climate change scenarios. The acidification of the oceans could just destroy ecosystems and wipe out food sources, and it would have long-lasting and world-changing effects on just pretty much everything. The world would not be the same. You know, you just imagine all marine life died out. How much stuff is dependent on that? I mean, one of the big issues is just like plankton and krill and stuff, which is like the bottom of the food chain. If that stuff can't live, ain't nothing in the oceans living. That's a big problem. That's a really big problem. And if the oceans get too acidic, you can't get the carbon dioxide out of it easily. It's the one place where most of the carbon dioxide goes. There is a sort of maybe speculative, theoretical way that you might be able to get it back out, but if the ocean gets too acidic, it wouldn't work because that reaction just couldn't happen. The product of that reaction dissolves in acid. So you can't do that. Well, that's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. Oh, I'm about to get killed by things. I was wanting to wrap this up, and you're coming to kill me now. How rude, how rude. So yeah, now I've run long, now I've run very long, so you're used to that, so I'm sure you're quite happy with that. I have not got through all my questions, so I'm going to save some for next week, and of course you are more than welcome to submit some more, because those are totally cool, and then I will get to them next week, and you'll get a shout out and all those things, and it'll all be wonderful, and we'll all be happy, and I'll get to continue making this series, because I am rather dependent on you at this stage. So yay, that's fun. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka, this has been Spiel, and I shall see you next time!
Yeah!